Hello, all of you beautiful people, and welcome back to the Voice of Reality podcast. For me, anyway, and I hope for you all, this is just a kind of safe space where we share. There's questions, we listen, there's as much info as I can possibly give, and as much kind of realness as I can possibly give as well. As you've probably noticed, guys, we've gotten a little bit of a rebrand, and I'm actually really excited about that. And that is one thing that's kind of taken me so long to get back into the podcast and actually having podcasts out for you all, is that I did want to do a little bit of a touch up and I did want to change things up slightly. So that is the first thing. So welcome to the new rebrand of the Voice of Reality podcast. And honestly, thank you for being here. Literally, as always, I love having you all here. I love knowing that there's even one person, and if that is you, that is sitting there or walking or out and about or in the car or whatever you might be doing, just listening along and hopefully finding some information, useful bits and bobs, or just literally relaxing, listening to everything that is going on. Today, we are going to be doing something a little bit different because obviously I haven't recorded a podcast in so long. And I do apologize, genuinely, I do. And I will get into that as well. But because I haven't recorded a podcast in so long, I thought we could just have, honestly, a raw and honest and a life update. Because sometimes I feel like these are some of the best episodes, and also one that I haven't done in a very, very long time. So, yes, let's kind of get into it. Let's kind of see where we're at and just kind of chit chat through life in general. As I said, this is going to be really honest because I will not lie. Personally, life has been lifing pretty hard lately over the past few months, over the past 2026 in general. And I genuinely think that I started off 2026 feeling really positive, feeling really, really good about everything. And even with the podcast, I was doing podcasts every second week, if not every week. And we were onto a really good start with things. And, the first probably 2 months of 2026, things were feeling really, really well. And well, I think they were anyway. But as we started to come into March, that's when things really kind of started getting unsettling. Firstly, obviously, I live in Dubai, I live in the UAE. So there was a lot of unsettling things going on over here, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world right now, with war, with conflict. I don't want to get too deep into it because we don't want to be negative either. But yes, as we all know, there was a lot that went on over here, and it was extremely unnerving. And when that started and coming into March, I just completely lost myself. It felt like as if that was just the straw that broke my nervous system. I am quite an anxious person, and this is something that I genuinely don't talk about a lot because, I don't want to be negative either. I don't want to only share the bad. I do talk about it, but, not all of the time. And I am quite an anxious person. I am quite a nervous person. I wasn't always like this either. I feel like since starting kind of my own business and working for myself, that's when this has extremely escalated, and it's just kind of grown really over the years. And unfortunately, with everything that happened in March, my nervous system just went absolutely wild. Like it was just like as if, with everything that was so unsettling and with everything that was going on, and kind of all of the just unknown that was happening in on this side of the world anyway, I just crumbled. And I think I noticed that massively in my body, in my mind, in decisions that I was making in work, just how I felt day to day. I could barely show up for myself, if I'm being honest. I was still showing up for myself, but it took all of my strength. So that was kind of where, things took a bit of a hit in March. And I just felt like my nervous system was on the floor. Like, I genuinely think I was working on survival mode anyway. And then that just really showed me how much of survival mode I was working on. And I think then that that did break a little bit in me somewhat. My anxiety was through the roof. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. My appetite was just gone. My skin broke out. I was stressed every single day. I was gaining weight. And yeah, genuinely, it just felt like an outer body experience when I kind of look back on it now. After a few weeks of being here in Dubai with everything going on, we actually decided that we would go to Thailand for a few weeks and to just kind of take ourselves out of this environment. My partner also has always wanted to go to Thailand. And to be honest, I actually got him for his birthday a holiday to Thailand, but then it was cancelled because of everything that was going on. So, really, we did end up going. And we did end up kind of getting there eventually, just obviously not on the terms we would have wished. And after a few weeks of going through the conflict and the unknown, being in this environment with everything going on, we decided, right, you know what? Let's go to Thailand for a few weeks and see if things settle down. I wasn't coping well. My partner was fine, but I wasn't coping well with everything. So I think that was probably one of the best decisions that we'd made, because after a few weeks of being in Thailand, I really started to settle down a little bit more. I started to notice that, I wasn't as nervous, I wasn't as anxious. And when I say anxious, like, I was just anxious for no reason. Like, every day I just wake up and I just be anxious. I don't know if anyone's ever felt this, but the only time that I didn't feel this unsettling anxiety and stress within my body was for the first 10 seconds of the day when I was opening my eyes. For the first 10 seconds of the day, I was opening my eyes, and it was like as if my body forgot to feel anxious for those 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden it would start again. And it was tough. Like, it is tough. And I think because I've always been quite anxious, like, I was trying to deal with it the best way that I could. I was still showing up for myself. I feel like I have high functioning anxiety. So I still function day to day, but I'm quite literally living off survival mode whilst functioning. And I really, really, really saw that shine through in this period of time, because, something changed when all of that was going on and when my nervous system just fell through. Now, Thailand definitely helped. And then we came back. I absolutely loved Thailand. It was amazing. Recommend to absolutely anyone that's ever thinking about it. I've loads of YouTubes up on it as well. And if you've ever any questions, please let me know. We stayed in Phuket for the whole time. We were there for 4 weeks. And yeah, I did absolutely love it. And it definitely helped slow things down and kind of regulate things again. And then when we came back, it was really, really nice to just get back into routine and to kind of be back in a headspace where things weren't as unsettling, because it did slowly start to die down in the UAE at that time. Now, having said that, I did start to notice small things trickle back up. My anxiety started to kind of heighten again. I started to notice stress kind of heightening again. And what I realized was that it was always there. It just was flaring up more now. It was always there. It's always been something that I've struggled with, but it was just starting to flare up, and I was noticing it a hell of a lot more because life was so unsettling at that time. And yeah, it was really hard to do things that I didn't necessarily have to do, if that makes sense. So, for example, like, I was still getting up and showing up for work and for my clients. Of course, I never wouldn't. I was still showing up for the gym, and I was still doing things in my normal day to day, but it felt like I was on autopilot. And then doing things like the podcast or like YouTube's, I couldn't bring myself to do, because I just felt so out of body. Like, I just didn't feel right sitting down doing a podcast or being kind of happy on camera or to you all, when it just wasn't how I actually felt. And that was something, that I really, really struggled with, because I love doing this and I love sharing things with you all. But I think when you're going through it, it's really hard to share it. And that's why now I feel a little bit better kind of sharing it and going back on it, because I don't feel 100%, but it's definitely not as bad. And that's for sure. When we came back from Thailand, we were back for about 4 weeks, and then we actually went home to Ireland for a few weeks, and that was obviously really, really nice. But again, I didn't feel 100% myself. And I think I really noticed that when I was home, because usually when I go home, I start feeling an awful lot better and I start kind of, just being more at ease. But that didn't really happen this time. Um, and yeah, then we came back here. There was a lot going on over the month of July. It was my birthday, and there was a lot of outings. It was very busy in general. And it was nice, definitely kind of getting back into routine. I think over the past few weeks and being back in Dubai, it's slowly started to feel a lot more normal after everything that's been going on. So I'm really happy with that because I love it here. This is my home. Like this is where we've set base. This is our home at the moment. So I think for a lot of people it's that thing of like, oh well, why don't you just leave? But like this is our home. Like there's so much here that's for us, and we've set base here and we're really happy here that like it's not that easy either. So yeah, and like also for me anyway, and with how I feel with my anxiety and with my own mental health and my own kind of day to day, it doesn't necessarily matter where you are, like with regards to your environment. It's something that will follow you around no matter what. And that's a massive thing that I have genuinely really, really come to terms with over the past few months and over the past year in general, is that it doesn't matter how much you try change things or how much you try change what you do, it's still always going to creep up and flare up in different ways if you're not getting to like the core issue. So there is definitely things that I've been doing to help myself. I've been in therapy. There's definitely things that I've been trying to bring into my day to day that has helped me an awful lot. I will not lie, with the line of work I do, it definitely doesn't help, but I am trying my best to navigate through that. I think with the line of work and working for myself and growing a business and taking on a lot of responsibility, that is massive because the stress never goes away from that. You work all hours of the day. One text message can literally ruin your day and put you into a spiral of negativity and self-doubt. And I think that's something that I've really been trying to work on. Like, there's been a lot of negatives with regards to business over the past few months. I think all we ever see is the glitz and the glam of it, and traveling the world and living abroad and kind of working from your laptop. But please know that for me anyway, I don't know about anyone else, but it's not always as it seems. Personally, for me, over the past few months and in general, I've never found it glamorous. I've never found it something to really like boast over, because personally I do struggle with running my own business and I struggle mentally with it as well. And there's a lot of pros to it and I absolutely love and adore what I do, but there is also of course cons that come with it, and that's the same with anything, that any line of work. So it's just always something that I always want anyone to know, is that of course there's pros, but there is a lot of hardship that come with it as well. And I think personally over the past few months, the negatives and the hardships have been outweighing the pros and the goodness of it, unfortunately. And it's been really, really hard to deal with. It really has. It's been really hard to navigate through that and to see things that are happening and try and push through it. But I am pushing through it. One thing I know about myself is that I'll never quit and I'll never give up, and I will build as much as I can to try and help and impact as many people as I can. But of course, that doesn't take away from the fact that it is really hard at the moment. And there's a lot more negatives going on business wise. There's a lot more negatives going on with regards to, clients. I've just seen a lot more negative coming through, and the positives, it's really, really hard to weigh in on the positives when that's happening. But it's okay, because I know hopefully that there will be a turning point. There has to be, because that's all I'm wishing for. And that's what's getting me through. And the fact that I know that I will literally not be giving up. So no matter how hard it gets, I will be pushing through. But that doesn't mean it doesn't take a toll on me, for sure. And I think that is something that has definitely taken a toll over the past few months. And that's why I've been a little bit inactive on the podcast as well, because I don't like showing up and I don't like pretending, literally, like everything is fine. So that is why we're being raw, we're being honest. And that is why I'm sitting here letting you all in on this as well, because I didn't know how to come back. I didn't know how to get the podcast back. I didn't know how to put out this episode other than to be raw and to be honest and to tell you all why I've been MIA on here and why I haven't been feeling 100% myself. As well as that, you probably all do know as well. Well, if you've been tuning in on Instagram, Life and Gym Gear, or if you've been on my YouTube, you know that I have also gotten surgery. I've gotten boob surgery as well. And obviously that's a big update as well. And any questions on that, please always let me know. I obviously did a whole YouTube on this too. And one thing that I always say is that it's not glamorous. Like, again, I really hate that social media just glamorizes absolutely everything. Like, it's a surgery and we all need to remember that. So with that, it meant that I can't train properly. Like, I can't train to my usual intensity. I can't do cardio. I can't do any impact really. I can't train upper body. There's a lot of things that I can't necessarily do post operation and post surgery. But at the same time, I did know that. So I had to like prepare myself for that. But there is a lot of things that I can do. So I am slowly easing back into lower body training. Now, the capacity and the intensity that I'm at is about 40%. Like, I cannot go intense. I cannot go hell for leather in training, and that is okay. I'm happy that I can start bringing lower body even back in, to be honest. I can still get my steps and I can still most definitely control my nutrition. So there is a lot of things that I can control, but it is also it's very showing. I think my mindset is feeling the fact that I can't go in and just train as usual and I can't go in and just do what I usually do. But at the same time, I'm extremely, extremely grateful that my surgery and that my post-op and that my recovery has been so, so smooth. Like, genuinely. And that's one thing that I really want to chat about and kind of home in on, the fact that because I was in such a good place before surgery and because I live such an active, healthy, just positive lifestyle, my body has really, really, really shown me and just been so positive back to me with regards to recovery. It's genuinely been amazing. Like, and even my surgeon has just been so happy and in shock nearly with how well everything has been going, and the fact that I could get back to training so early, because I've been back training about 3 weeks now. I'm currently on week 7. So I actually went back training 4 weeks post-op really lightly. Girls, please, like, obviously everyone's body is different when it comes to this, so don't be just going off what I say. But I've been going back obviously on week 4 really, really lightly. And, you know, I think a lot of people probably couldn't do that. But because my body is in such a strong position and because I have obviously helped my body for so long before surgery, it's really, really, really helped me back post surgery. So I am really happy with how well recovery has been going. But it's definitely obviously, yeah, taken a toll on mindset because I haven't been able to do my things as usual. But I'm extremely positive and I'm really happy that we're coming out the other side. And hopefully now over the next 4 weeks, things only get better and I'm back training as usual again. On another note, I also turned 30. So I don't know if it was that, and it is that I'm currently having a midlife crisis or something, or a 30 life crisis, but I have definitely felt the pressures of life, the pressures of society and just socials in general, on the fact that, like, you know, I may not be living the most normal, well, normal deemed by social media, we shall say, or by society lifestyle. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have a kid. I'm not pregnant. I don't think I will be anyway over the next while. I'm not engaged. I'm not married. I don't really see like my life right now going that way. And I think, you know, you start to feel, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Second guessing all of your choices, wondering what's going on, wondering if you're in the right position in life as you turn 30. I don't know what it is, but I know that everyone that's probably listening to this that has been in this scenario knows what I'm talking about. It's just like as if you feel you should be in a different position. But then I really had to get down to the nitty gritty and remind myself that where I'm currently at is genuinely something I've always dreamed of. I live abroad, I live in the sun, I have an amazing job, I've built this business, I have built a new narrative from RCGC, from my bedroom at home, my childhood bedroom, from being on the dole and literally having about €10 a week, literally from having zero clients, zero reaction, zero engagement, from zero literally with the business in general. And I have built this from the ground up. And I am so happy about that. I really, really am. And I'm obsessed with what I do. I'm so passionate with what I do. I'm so happy with where I am in life. And I think that was something that I also realized in the thought process of having my 30 life crisis, was that even though I'm not living the traditional norm, I am living the life that I am very proud of and that I have built for myself. And I think that came out the other side of me overanalyzing everything as well. So anyone else out there as well that is currently, feeling that way, or is currently trying to do something different, maybe you do want to go down a new career path, maybe you do want to live abroad, maybe you do want to change up your life in some sort of way. Maybe it is the case that you want to go and get a mortgage or have a kid. No matter what it is or what stage in life you're at, I really hope that you're not taking on other people's opinions, other people's idea of what's normal and society, and allowing that to create your normal, because you get to decide what you want to do. You get to decide where life takes you and what you get to build and where you want to go. So do always remember that, because I think I got very caught up in my own thoughts there, thinking that I had to do things differently. Well, no, I really do not. And you don't either. So just remind yourself of that you're doing the best you can. You're in this position for a reason. And no matter what your next move is or your next thought is or where you want to go in life, just make sure you're doing it for you and no one else. And that is something I will always live by. Do it for you, no one else, no one else's opinions. No one else is going to live the life that you have to live. So make sure you're happy first and foremost. So yeah, obviously that was a little bit into what's been going on over the past while and where my mindset has been. I think there's just been a lot with regards to me being in a tough place mentally. I've been working through that as much as possible, but then also there's been so much creeping in that has been adding to that, I would say. And I think I'm not out the other side. I still have really hard days where genuinely all I want to do is lie in bed in the darkness. Like, I think a lot of us have that. I still have really hard days where I will just want to curl up and cry and eat everything. But I do really firmly believe that if you give into those things, you'll only make it worse. So I do show up for myself as much as possible. I do make sure that I'm still getting up and doing what I need to do. Yes, of course, there's some days where you have to just feel it out and you have to just kind of allow yourself to feel those emotions. But if I allowed myself to do that every day, I genuinely don't know where I would be right now. And as much as it's tough showing up when you feel like this, I know that future me, and I know that even me today is so proud that I have still gotten up and carried on. Because, I don't want to stop. I don't want to rein it in. I don't want to give in to that feeling. So I'm doing what I can. We're definitely feeling better. But we're still not 100% there. But we're getting there. And I really, really hope that we do get there. I really hope that, as time goes on, things start to feel better, which they will, as we know, time definitely helps. And I'm really happy to be back here with you all as well. I actually think recording this and being here chatting through all of this with you all has genuinely actually healed a part of my heart. I won't lie. I'm not going to cry. I kind of am. I won't lie. But it's actually felt very healing sitting here and just chatting it all out, because I do feel like I don't know how to talk about it without just sounding negative and without just sounding draining and without just, getting it across, especially on social media, because I feel like social media can portray things so differently. And that's why I don't necessarily talk about it all of the time on socials. I do tap into it and I do show you all pieces of what goes on behind the scenes. But it's hard to really, really delve into it because, everyone wants to see the highlights. Everyone wants to see those 30-second quick fix reels. And, talking about your feelings on social media can be tough because a lot of the time that's not what people want to see and no one really cares. So sitting down here and just chatting this out in this episode, I genuinely feel like I've been able to be real with you all. I've been able to be honest. I've been able to be raw and open up on what's been going on so that you all understand too. And obviously I haven't gotten deep into absolutely everything, but I've definitely been able to explain myself better as to why I've been a little bit more MIA and as to why we're back now as well. Because I actually have been dragging my feet on coming back with the podcasts and coming back to you all with just everything in general and being on top of my game. And that's one thing that I don't stand for that. That's not a value I stand for. I don't stand for me dragging my feet and waiting till when I feel ready. Like if I waited until I felt ready, I would genuinely be here forever. I honestly came on and hit record here without even thinking about it. I said, you know what? I've had enough. I didn't write out anything that I was going to say. I didn't write out any kind of scripts or pinpoints or to know even what I was going to say here. I genuinely just hit record and start talking because I feel like if I didn't do that, you would be all waiting for this podcast episode for another few months, maybe even to never have it come to life again. And that's not what we want. So anyone else out there, I always love being able to relate this to you all. So please know that when I talk through any of these things, it's to help you all as much as possible. But anyone else out there that is waiting to do something, trying to feel ready for something, or, dragging their feet on a decision or an idea, do it. Just do it, because me even just pressing record and sitting down here and chatting with you all has already made me feel so much better. And here we are with a podcast back, even though I've been dragging my feet for the past 5 months. Has it been 5 months? 4 or 5 months, genuinely. And I kept making excuses. I kept thinking, oh, it's for a reason that I'm not doing it. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I'm pushing it off. No, I needed to get up and I needed to do this. And that's exactly what I did today. So I'm genuinely so happy to be back. And, anyone out there, as I said, that does have an idea or something that they want to do or a decision that they have to make, this is your sign. This is your sign to just do it, to just hit play, hit record, take the first step, and to just do it, because you're never going to get there thinking about it, wishing for it, and hoping that you'll feel ready at some stage. Personally, I was never going to either until I did this. So yes, that is a roundup of where life has been. That is a roundup of an update on everything at the moment. Currently, we're still in Dubai. We will be actually moving apartments, so that will be extremely fun over the next few weeks. And I'm sure you'll all be kept updated as well on like Instagram and YouTube and all of the likes as well. But for now, genuinely thank you all for being here. I know that this was a little bit of a different episode, but I'm also really happy that we got to have it together and I got to chat through everything with you all. And if you have gotten this far, thank you. Like, I am genuinely so grateful, even if there's just one person, even if there's 2 people, if there's someone that barely listened to this and it was just on in the background. Thank you for engaging and for just even clicking onto this episode and wondering what it's about. So I'm really, really grateful for you all. Like, I am always, always, always blessed knowing that no matter what I do, if it impacts and helps one person, that is what we're here for. And that is always the mission. And I hope that you love the little new rebrand. And I just hope that whatever you're doing as you listen to this, you're having a good day, a good week, and a good month. And if not, please know that it will turn itself around and it's not too late to help yourself turn it around. So thank you for being here. and welcome back. We are back. Literally, we're back. And always remember, Queens, if there is days where you do not believe in yourself or you are having any doubts, I am always over here believing in you. And I'm always over here rooting for you.